exciting time
This
right
call
now.
is
I know
being
you
recorded.
guys could definitely be somewhere else with family or friends, but you're here on the call, and thank you so much for being here. And congratulations just for showing up. I definitely want to get things started here by just reminding everybody of our weekly event calendar. Just like tonight, we're having our VIP conference training call here at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. You can either dial in or go on uberconference.com/VIP Global. Don't miss tomorrow night. We actually have our TPS corporate training webinar at 6 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. You can go ahead and pre-register now at tpswebinar.com. Don't miss that. And then on Tuesdays, we're actually moving them over to Go Parties. We found that it's just a lot more effective and a lot more fun if we actually bring the presentation to you and actually have your friends and family join you for the weekly event on Tuesdays. So go ahead and meet with your support leader and make sure you start getting that dialed in so we can go ahead and make that happen for you. Go Parties. On Wednesdays, we have our VIP Global Training webinars at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's VIPGlobalTraining.com. Go ahead and pre-register there today. And then last but not least, on Thursdays, we have our Business Overview webinar. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can go to tpsoverview.com and pre-register there. Now, what I like to do right now is go ahead and take some time out to recognize some very important people that have really taken this and treated it like a business and really taken their TPS business to the next level by upgrading or rank advancing through our TPS ladder here that we have. So real quick, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to some upgrades here. We got Dave Jackson, front London from England. He upgraded to Diamond. Congratulations, sir. And Pat Horner also went Diamond. Congratulations. Kate Broughton Smith also went Diamond. Congratulations. Clarissa Hanna went Diamond. Congratulations. Such a huge accomplishment for you guys. And then going next step down here at Gold, we got Felicia Mills. Congratulations for going Gold. We got Evernice Johnson going Gold. Congratulations. Clarissa Hanna. Congratulations on going Gold. And we got Candy LeBlanc. Congratulations for going Gold. We also have some silver members. Let's say we got Autry Harris. Congratulations for going silver. And then last but not least, we have bronze. We have Terrence Marcel for going bronze. Congratulations. Stephen Middleton going bronze. Congratulations to you, sir. And Brandon Pender for going bronze. Congratulations. These are people that have really taken their business to the next level, stepped it up, and really are seeing the bigger picture. So congratulations to all of you. Now, people that rank advanced, congratulations to Jeannie Marshall. She just hit Master Store Owner. That means she helped 3 people upgrade. So congratulations on achieving company's first rank advancement, Jeannie. You definitely deserved it. With that said, guys, I want to go ahead and hand this off to really somebody that's going to touch up on our this week's subject, which is a follow-up. You know, we all know the fortune is in the follow-up, so we're going to touch on that today. And I'm going to introduce the person that's really going to set the stage here for us and just kind of touch on that. Obviously, we're going to be meeting on Wednesday for our training, and we'll go into a little bit more depth. But what I like to do is hand it over to Shane Hyman, our Senior Marketing Director, somebody that's really just shaking and moving and does so much behind the scenes and just really making things happen for all of us. And real quick, I also want to remind everybody that we have our April 1st event. So if you haven't now, go ahead and do so. Just register at tpsevent.com. That's going to be the big event. But without so, I want to go ahead and introduce you to Mr. Shane Hyman. Are you on the line with us, sir?
Yes, I am, Rudy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for joining and being on the call.
Fantastic. You're absolutely welcome. And thank you, Rudy. Thank you for all of your servant leadership. Definitely being out there in the field, shaking and moving and leading by example, showing with your actions what it means to achieve this success, not being a do as I say, not as I do type of person, but being a true leader. So I commend you for all of your success and participation. So yes, guys, want to welcome everybody and congratulate everybody for saying yes to success and continuously engaging in these trainings, whether you're here live or watching this as a replay. As Rudy said, we want to touch on follow-up, but we're doing a training that's titled Follow Up and Follow Through. Okay, and I just want to do a briefing of that and just kind of set the tone, set the table for what's to come this Wednesday for our training that will be more in depth. Okay, VIPglobaltraining.com. But following up and following through is such a key component to you building your business and achieving the success that you truly want and deserve, right? So in my opinion, follow up, if we can break it down into two different segments, right? Follow up and follow through. Follow up to me is the consistent actions that are needed in order for you to achieve the success that you want in any business, but most specifically here with your TPS business. You have to follow up. You know, we hear the saying all the time, the fortune is in the follow-up. You need to follow up in order to receive your fortune, okay? And you have to follow up consistently. So again, follow-up is the consistent actions that are needed for you to achieve your success. So now let's talk about follow-through. The follow-through is basically the persistent actions that you take to get those results. So you have to take those follow-up actions most persistently until you get the result, meaning that you need to be willing to follow up until you get those results. Okay, it might take you 6 weeks. It might take you 6 months of following up with an individual. And in some cases, it might take 6 years, but we won't go out that far. But I just say that to make the point that when you're following through with it, that means you're going to continue persistently doing what it needs, what it takes until you finally get that result. Nothing's going to stop you, right? And we're going to share some things with this follow-up and follow-through training that's going to help you be comfortable with doing that, right? Because it's not about bugging people. It's not about all that type of thing. And we play and we have fun saying that. But in honesty, it's the best bug that you can do for anybody. It's the best pestering that you could do for somebody to love them enough and to care about them enough to follow up and follow through with them until that end goal is received, right? So if you really want something that you've never had before, you have to be willing to do things that you've never done before. And that applies when it comes to following up and following through, right? You got to think about, what have you done so far when it comes as it relates to following up and following through? How's your follow-up game, right? And have you achieved the success that you want? Now, if you haven't made it all the way to the top, if you haven't reached all of the success that you want, then you have to be willing to follow up and follow through in a way that you've never done before. You got to be open and willing to cross that uncharted territory of following up and following through. You got to stretch yourself to do things that are maybe not so comfortable for you. You know, you got to make those calls repeatedly and continuously follow up and follow through with people. Okay. So, and for some people, it may not necessarily be so much of doing something differently. For some of us, it's just doing more of what it is that we're doing, right? So you may need to put more people on your list that you're following up with. You need to make more invitations, okay, and open up, sharing this information with more people by giving them a video and then scheduling the follow-ups. And again, more follow-ups, okay? So you just, sometimes it's just more, you just need to do more of those things that are going to create the results for you. Now, when it comes down to doing more, you have to really identify what is going to help you create new habits, because let's be real, what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And what we do is based on the habits that we form, okay? So you have to identify what works for you, what you're comfortable with, so that way you can do those things to help you establish and create new habits of following up. Whether that's, writing down and tracking your follow-up progress on paper. Some people like to do it on paper. You might start a notebook, right? One that you're going to track on a daily basis, almost like a diary, like a follow-up diary. Some people like to do it on paper. And then there's other people who want to use technology. They want to use their phones and their computers and their laptops, and their calendars to schedule those follow-ups and also set the reminders for them. And I particularly like that. Again, find what works for you, what's going to help you help yourself create those new habits that once you take action through those habits long enough, then you will have followed through and seen the result of the success that you want. But I personally would recommend using the technology. All of us have cell phones. I don't know one person that doesn't have a cell phone, and those cell phones have calendars. You can schedule out your follow-up sequence in the calendar. You might spend 30 minutes or an hour every week just updating that calendar on who you need to follow up and when, and setting those reminders so your phone will alert you. It will remind you to take the appropriate follow-up. So again, identify what is going to help you create new habits. And you have to inspect what you expect, right? And make sure that your actions will produce the reality that you want, that you're expecting, right? So, if you're going to buy a home and it's not a brand new home, it's a used home, then you get what's called a home inspection, right? And the inspector's going to come out. They're going to inspect that home and let you know all about what's in there, right? So it's an inspection. You have to do the same type of inspection on your expectation. What are your expectations? And expectations are huge, because part of your expectation is what you're going to attract and what you're going to bring into your reality. But guess what? None of this law of attraction stuff, none of this stuff is just airy-fairy. It doesn't just happen like poof, right? You still have to have the proper actions that are going to create that expectation into a reality. So you have to, in this inspection, make sure that those two are matching up, right? You have to look at what you're expecting. I expect and I want to be, SMD or EMD or GVP or MSO or MSB, whatever you're expecting as far as your next goal and what you want. You have to make sure that your actions that you're taking match up to that expectation, so that way it won't just be an expectation, it will become a reality for you in the near future due to you taking the proper actions consistently over time. That's all it is, is the proper actions over time, and eventually you will have the result that you want to see. So we're going to go in depth a lot more about these things. We're going to break it down and give some more pointers on how you can do just that. Okay, how you can follow up and you can follow through all the way to the success that you know that you deserve and that you will attain in the near future. So guys, at this point, I also wanted to bring on some testimonials and some leaders who are basically doing this. They have some stories, they have some things that can account for what following up and following through means to them. So at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Rudy Salaya back up to the call, so that way he can share with us a little bit from his perspective about what it means to follow up and follow through. Rudy, are you still there? Let me get you unmuted. Give me a second. Well, you know what, guys? Change of plans. As a matter of fact, I'm excited about the next person who I want to bring up to kind of speak on, and she has a very great example of what it takes to follow up and follow through, and she's such a dynamic businesswoman, and in my opinion, Miss Kim Barth. Give me a second here. I'll unmute you, and we'll start with you and come back to Rudy. Hi, Kim. You there?
Hey there. Yeah, how are you doing?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know you're busy doing some family things and you're out of state and so forth, but thank you so much. Without any further ado, I'd like to pass the floor over to you to talk about this follow-up and follow-through.
Thanks so much, and I apologize if I'm in the Phoenix airport because I just landed, and so if they come over with the overhead announcements, sorry, it will be loud. But Shane, you do such a great job. I've been listening ever since I landed, and you do such a great job of helping people get where they want to go. I do a lot of work on the power of the law of attraction, and intertwined in that is the law of vibration. And exactly what you said is involved with that is where you put your intention, where you put your attention, and where you put your expectation. Those are the three powers within the law of vibration. So I study a lot about that. And so when I flew with American Airlines for 20 years, and within that, I created a candy company. And it took, a lot of time to create something from nothing and to get a lot of the things done. And one of the things that was one of my greatest accomplishments is that I got on HSN. I got on the Home Shopping Network. It took me a year and a half of following up with them and the follow through with them to be able to have them get me on board with them. Because when you're talking to people, whether it's a prospect, they want to trust you. And they don't know. There's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of weird people out there. They don't know if they can trust you. So they want to get to know you. They want to get to know the product, which is now TPS. They want to get to know and make sure that they can trust you. And they have to also learn about your product. They have to learn about you as a person, and they have to learn about you as a product. So it might take some time. So I did things the old-fashioned way. I would write things down in a notebook about when I called so that I wasn't calling up and being too, overly excited or too buggy. And I had the right kind of, did I call on a Monday? Did I call on a Thursday? What time did I call? I mean, I analyzed the crap out of it because I didn't want to be too pushy, but I also wanted to be, assertive. And then I would start it on an Excel spreadsheet. So I've used computer too. So the same thing happened when I became, friends with the president of Starbucks. That took 2 years for me to build that relationship. So that's my big point here is that we are building a relationship. It does take time with some people. Now, with the excitement we have with TPS, we have the urgency as well. So I think that, it's not going to take 2 years to build a relationship, but I'm just getting to the point, But it takes time. People need to learn how to trust you, and they need to learn your character. So don't ever take it personally if somebody doesn't call you back. They might be busy. So just mark it down and call them later as if it never happened. And don't make them wrong for it. Just build the relationship and show your character.
Wow, that was so powerful. Thank you, Kim Barth. I appreciate that insight. And guys, she is so right. This is a relationship building business, and we're going to talk about that this Wednesday, about the cycle of that and belief and trust and all the moving parts and where they fit, right? So, anytime you want to achieve financial freedom, it's not an instant gratification situation. Okay. Nobody is an overnight success. That doesn't work that way, right? It takes time, it takes dedication. And again, like Kim said, you have to build that relationship. So thanks again, Kim. Now, I would like to take this time to bring up Mr. Rudy Salaya, master store builder, and he's just really taking his business by storm, and his team is growing and thriving, and I'd like to get his input on follow up and follow through. So Mr. Rudy Salaya, are you there, sir?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. Shane, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you for joining, and the floor is yours. Go take it away.
Thank you so much for having me on, Shane. And yeah, it's basically what you guys are saying here is, just follow up with the people that you're talking to. It's really a numbers game. The more people you expose the business to, the more follow-ups you have. Think about it. Yeah, not everybody's going to call you back and say, hey, Rudy, I just want to let you know I watched the video. It's just, very rare that will ever happen. So the fortune is always in the follow-up. You'll never know unless you actually take the time to follow up with the person that you introduce the business to anyways. Like I said, for myself, I have a lot of background in sales. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is that if I don't follow up, I will never know the outcome. I will never know the result, whether it was selling cars, whether it was refinancing homes for homeowners all over across the country, if it wasn't for following up with people that wanted to remodel their homes. There's just so many in this business now. It's like you're exposing them to a video. how are you going to know if you watched a video if you never asked them if they watched it? And see, the thing is I like to position it a little bit more differently. I don't want to say, hey, did you watch the video? Because that just creates a yes or a no result. What I like to do is have an open-ended question when I follow up. Hey, just wanted to see, what did you like most about that video I sent you? They can't say yes or no. Now they have to say, well, I like it. I like the part that I get paid to shop. Or you're going to say, I haven't watched it yet. Now you see, these are the things you already know what you need to do next. So I always tell you, just like anything else, think about your relationships, right? If you meet somebody you really like, and they may like you, you don't know unless you follow up with that person. You might have a first date, but how are you going to have that second date if you don't reach out and say, hey, how's everything going? Let's see what we can do to meet back up. Same thing. You want to meet people up. You want to see what's going on with their business, see how how they like the video, how they like this opportunity. And you never know unless you ask. And that's my thing about following up.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for that insight, Rudy. And you are absolutely true. Another saying is a closed mouth does not get fed. So, we're here to eat. And we're here to consume. Financial abundance. We're here to consume empowerment. And just by participating with the company and concept here with TPS, the Purpose Solution, we'll do just that, So it's amazing that, we have something that we can share, and we could build relationships with people we know and people who we don't know. Like even me, for example, like I have a really good relationship and friend out of my neighbor, Gabriel Garcia, and he's joining us on the call tonight as well. And it's a funny story with us too, because I told him about TPS, and I just kept inviting. And when I say inviting, I mean inviting him to the overall concept, right? And it took a while. I can't remember exactly how long, but it might have been a year or over a year of continuously inviting him to take a look and consider, right? And finally we achieved that, and he's here, he's in the business, he's excited, he does his shopping, he's getting paid on a daily basis, he's knocking on the door of MSO, and I'm just delighted to have my friend and neighbor due to persistence and consistency of following up and following through until that end result. And we got to be comfortable. We got to know what we have and be confident enough to do those follow-ups, because we're not bugging people. We're sharing and offering something that could change their lives forever. So when you really know and believe that, you could be more comfortable with continuously following up with people to say, hey, take a look. Listen, I'm still doing it. And here's the good thing about that too, is they see that you're not hopping around. You've been doing the same thing for a while. So the longer it takes for you to follow up, that you're closer, to that end goal. Okay. So I actually want to bring up one more person to speak to this, and this gentleman has an abundance of knowledge and wisdom. Okay, he's somebody that I look up to as a friend, as a business partner, and even a coach and mentor. And he just gives himself so freely, and he has a true heart and desire to help people increase their value, increase their worth, and increase their wealth. Okay, he's all about developing leaders, and I'm just thankful that he has taken the time to work with me and help me continue to grow as well. So to me, he's an expert in this subject. You'll hear about his stories all the time. There's so many people who can attest to his ability to follow up in a way at the end of the day. So without any further ado, I'd like to ask my friend and partner, elite marketing director with The Perfect Solution, as well as our founder of VIP Global, Mr. Kyle McGregor, to weigh in on our topic of follow up and follow through. Kyle, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I sure can. And thank you for joining us here tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you did such a wonderful job. Absolutely a masterpiece in regards to this initial introduction, which I know we're going to a lot more detail on Thursday, which I'm excited to hear from you Thursday evening. But I'm sorry, forgive me, Wednesday evening. But yeah, if you guys have not yet registered, make sure you guys jump on there. It's going to be a fantastic training. VIPglobaltraining.com, Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. But just to kind of wrap things up, maybe one or two little tidbits about this, because I think this is one of the most important factors of what we do. Okay, first and foremost, why don't we follow up? That's one of the questions you want to ask yourself. Why would I not want to follow up with somebody? If I took the time to at least ask somebody if they're open to opportunity, if I asked somebody if they wanted to see some information about something that could change their life, if they wanted to make some additional revenue stream in their life, right? Why won't I follow through with them? Why won't I follow up with that person if I've given them the opportunity to take a look? You got to realize that, and we'll go over some statistics about really the importance of what that looks like and how many people really don't do that. This is what's kind of crazy. Let me share this with you real quick. You realize that 2% of sales, isn't any sales, I'm talking about home sales, mortgage, life insurance, you name it, any type of sales, the most lucrative way to make money, okay, or the profession, okay, is in sales. Just so you guys know, the most lucrative profession in the world is sales, right? But through these sales, not everybody is the best. And I believe it's not because they don't have all the knowledge and technique and things of that nature. I believe it's a lack of follow-up. It's a lack of following up and then not understanding how to follow through, right? To be able to do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, okay? So if you have a contact with somebody, you share the information with them, you ask them for their opinion, if they see they're open to opportunity, and you give them the information, the tool to look at, whether it's a video or what may be, right? And then you set up a time to follow up with them after they've looked at it. Well, I realize that 2% of sales are made after the first contact. Only 2%. That out of 100 people, only 2 would actually enroll with you if after the first contact happened. Only 3% of sales is made on the second contact. Only 5% of sales is made on the third contact. Only 10%, this is a nice little double jump here, after the fourth contact, the fourth different exposure, the fourth communication, 10% of sales are made. Now here's the nuts part. You ready for it? 80% of sales is made from the 5th to the 12th contact. Isn't that crazy? See, the thing is, I think most people don't do that. They don't recognize it. They think that they'll see it once or twice, and they think that everyone's going to jump all over it. Right? That's just not how it is. See, we get busy in life. Think about the average person. Think about yourself. We get busy. We're in our routine. We don't think about other things. Maybe somebody throws something at us, but we don't think about that thing that somebody put in front of us until somebody follows up with us. So when people are like, well, I gave them my business card and I expect them to call me back. No. Don't ever expect anybody to call you back. Just get that through your mind, because most people just get busy. Most people have their own lives. They're not focusing on other things. Unless they're beyond ready, unless they're so hungry that they're going to reach out to you, they're not going to go take that path. So you want to make sure that you, when you're planting that seed, that you make sure you nurture it, you follow up with it, you water it, right? You make sure it has enough sun, right? You want to cultivate and build that relationship through these exposures. The average person needs 5 to 7 exposures to make a decision. And that's why we teach people how to go through this exposure process, to initially pique their interest, have them watch the video, then get them on a phone call, then have them watch another video, then have them go through a training. See, these are all little paths. It's kind of like E.T. Remember Elliot and E.T.? With that was one of the best movies out there. But remember Elliot. In order to bring E.T. into the home, he wanted to make sure he gave him something of value, something that he found yummy and tasteful, right? He put something there, and then he gave him another one, and down this path with him, and E.T. followed him through setting down these little Reese's Pieces. This is what we need to do with our exposure process, and that is the whole point of following up in your events or with your people that you're sharing this with. And so, while I was sharing with Shane earlier, a lot of times people are like, well, I talked to one person this month. Hey, that's great. Well, let's start upping those numbers, right? Because if you want to see some great results, you want to make sure that you share it with enough people. But you've got to make sure that also, when you do share it, that you give them the opportunity to see it for themselves, that you follow up with them to give them reminders, because that's just what the process is. If you look at some of the people that I have in my organization, they would never, ever been in this business if I wasn't tenacious. And when I talk about follow-up, I'm not talking about bugging people. I'm talking about in a very professional way, giving them a reminder to review the information. And once they've seen or reviewed it, very professionally, have someone else validate that information. And if they're not ready to need more information to feel comfortable engaging, then give them another tool. We've got so many phenomenal tools that are available to us. But again, just understand this, that we got to help them walk down that path of discovery, right? That's our job. We need to become the connector. We're not here to say it. We're not being salesmen here. We are information deliverers, okay? We either bring them to the information or bring the information to them. And we have a phenomenal amount of tools that we can utilize in helping people engage mentally with the opportunity that lies in front of us today. And people like Anthony LeBlanc, for example, I love watching him work because he knows this backwards and forwards. And I think I'd like to have him speak on Wednesday just for a few minutes because of his talent and ability to be able to follow up with people. And when he says he's going to do something, he does it. Like Mr. Rudy Salaya, I spoke to him over a year ago. And he would never have been in the business unless, little by little, one at a time, he never said no to me. Right? But he said, it's not really for me right now. I said, no worries. Would you mind if I'll follow it up with you and just see how you're doing and maybe give you a little more information down the road? You see, no doesn't mean no. It means not right now because it's timing in people's lives. So little by little, you want to really plant these seeds of knowledge and do it in a professional manner where you're not pushy. You're not shoving something down someone's throat. If they say no to you right now, you don't get upset or angry. You're not emotionally attached to the outcome. Guys, these are all things you start learning over time. And I'm going to talk to you about one last thing and then turn it back over to Shane because I think it's important because you look at the word procrastination. And this is very interesting because procrastination, I think we all do that to a degree, right? But I'm going to put a little twist on it, a little bit different, I think, for you guys to understand. So you got to understand, procrastination is really the killer of progress, right? If you see the bigger picture, I've heard of it said this way too. Procrastination is the silent killer of ambition, productivity, peace, and balance, right? But think about this. Does procrastination even really exist? Let's talk about this for a second. This is crazy. I just heard something recently which actually hit home to me because I personally procrastinate. If somebody says I don't procrastinate, they're a liar. We all procrastinate, meaning that we put things off. But I heard this recently from a gentleman that was on a stage. He talked about, hey, look, does procrastination really exist? Think about it. He's like, I don't think it does. It's just that you don't think, you don't believe that the thing that you should be doing has importance or is important enough for you to actually do the thing that you need to do, right? So think about this. If somebody said, hey, look, if you're here at this time in this place in this location at this, let's just say 6 o'clock on Monday, if you're at this coffee shop at 6 a.m., I'll give you $3 million. Guess where every single one of us would be if we had that opportunity to make $3 million to show up at 6 p.m. on that day? We would all be there. I know I would. Does that make sense? But the thing is, if we didn't see the value in something, we're not going to do it, right? So how important is your goals? How important is your dreams? How important is it for you to win? You got to realize these simple daily disciplines, these things like he talked about, it's easy to do, it's easy not to do. Is it easy to pick up the phone and call somebody when you said you're going to do it? Put that reminder in your phone? That's easy. Thing is, if you don't see the value in following up with that person because you think it didn't matter, guess what? Nothing's going to happen. This is one of the most important skill sets, one of the most important disciplines you can have in your business. So guys, understand this. Set a goal, make a plan, get to work, stick to it, and reach that goal. Being persistently consistent is your key to success, and making sure that you follow up and follow through with the people you share the information with is going to be the difference between you succeeding big and you succeeding small, if not at all. All right, so and turn it back over to you, Mr. Hyman. Thank you so much for all you do. Congratulations on your rank advancement, Senior Marketing Director, and look forward to having you all on the next training.
Excellent, excellent, and thank you, Kyle. I appreciate the time tonight and the time always as a servant leader, always just pouring value into any and everybody who's willing to receive it and put it to work so that way they can achieve all of their goals and dreams. So guys, we like to typically keep this training call to about 30-40 minutes, and we're approaching that time. So in closing, I'd like to just again congratulate everybody for doing, as Kyle loves to say, show up and win. I want to congratulate you guys for showing up on these training calls and the webinars and so forth. And I also want to encourage you to continue saying yes to success. You know, that's one of my mottos and one of the things that I live by in life, you know, because in this instance, you're saying yes to success in terms of what it takes to follow up and follow through to achieve the success that you're saying yes to. So say yes to success. Say yes to being able to follow up and follow through efficiently. You know, say yes to inviting more people, making a larger list, having more invitations and more follow-ups. Say yes to expecting to follow up at least 5 to 12 times and setting those up and doing those at the times that you said that you would do. Say yes to what it takes for you to have anything and everything that you want in life. As long as you say yes and you follow up with that. See, saying yes is the mental declaration, okay? You're declaring that you're saying yes and you're going to do it. And just follow that up with the proper actions, and you will have any and everything that you want in life because you're helping people. Everything that you're doing here is not just for you. It's also for the benefit of others. So with that being said, I just want to tell everybody to have a fantastic evening, and we look forward to seeing you Wednesday, VIPglobaltraining.com, and tomorrow for the corporate webinar, TPS Corporate at tpswebinar.com as well, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, guys, my name is Shane Hyman, and I am signing out. Bye for now.